Thank you very much. I'd like a peanut butter banana sandwich, which I almost ate one this morning, but I didn't. This hairstyle is just not working out for me. What is this? I have my candle lit right in front of me so we can say some ghost stories. Hey guys, Pepper here. And today I'm going to be sharing yet another ghost story with you. This experience was probably maybe the creepiest I've had. It might not be scary hearing it, but being there was definitely really creepy. So I was probably in 5th grade during Christmas, 5th or 6th grade I would say. My mom got me an Ouija board for Christmas. I don't know how I knew what it was. Did I know what it was? I just loved scary things. Like I always read, that's like the only time you could ever get me to read. I hated reading, but I'd always read ghost stories and short ghost stories and stuff like that. It was my favorite thing, and still to this day is my favorite thing to read, and the only thing that can get me to focus is short ghost stories. Stop having ADHD right now because you need to focus. So my mom knew about my interests with the other side and ghosts and stuff, so she decided to get me an Ouija board for Christmas during my 6th grade year, 5th grade year, something like that. And I didn't really play with it much. Like, very rarely. Like, on a blue moon, a friend would come over, we'd get it out, we'd ask it, like, a couple questions, and, like, we wouldn't really take it seriously. We were just like, ah. So, my story doesn't really begin until about a year or two after I've had it. And let me tell you a little bit about the backstory with this. I had a friend in middle school. It was like a group of us. Emily would always have these like parties at her house. Nothing bad, nothing horrible. Like the worst thing we've probably done at her house at the party, we played Truth or Dare, and I don't know how to even play this or why 12-year-old little girls are playing this, but we're like in her living room and we're playing Truth or Dare, like strip Truth or Dare, and we'd only go in our bra and underwear. We wouldn't go any further. Like, I don't know why the freak we did that, but we're like, oh my gosh, Emily, what if your older brother comes in, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so she'd always have these like little mini parties, like probably 9 girls there, and we always had fun. She'd usually have them during like the holidays. Like she'd always have the Halloween one, she'd always have one during New Year's, and for her birthday she would just have all these little fun house parties and stuff. And I was always like the ghost girl that would come in, and I'd always want to scare everybody, and I was always saying, oh, we should play like a sanctuary thing, or Ladies of Feather stuff as a board, and I'd always tell them ghost stories. And the fun thing is too, she lived across from a creepy park that you never seen any kids around it, and I would always like make up these stories pretending they were real, saying, oh yeah, this girl died on the teeter-totter, and like I had no idea, but I had them believing me that some girl died on a teeter-totter, a little boy fell off the swing and died, now he haunts it, or I don't know, they all believed me. But anyways, every time I was there, it seems like we'd always end up doing something upon the spirits and stuff. So okay, so we were like 12 and 13, and she told me to bring, I think she told me to, I don't want to say she told me, she did it, she told me, I don't know, but one time I brought my Ouija board there. End of story. No, I wish. No, I brought my Ouija board there one time, and we decided to play it later at night. We didn't want to tell her mom because she said that her mom would freak out if someone had it. And so I got the Ouija board out, and we're like, okay, we're gonna play this real. Like, everyone was like, we're gonna play this for real. And since the board is so small and there were so many of us, all of us couldn't fit on one board. So some of us would sit out at a time while others would play, and then we'd just flip-flop. So we started with the Ouija board. We wanted it to be right. We wanted to play it exactly how you're supposed to play it, so we get the best results we could. So we had a candle lit, we had the room pitch black. I think all the lights in the house were all dark. Her mom always stayed in her own bedroom while Emily would have these parties, but so she wouldn't bother us, unless of course she was making breakfast or taking us out somewhere for fun. But most of the time, especially during the night or when we were playing our game, she'd usually just stay in the bedroom. She was really trustworthy with us. which was good because we weren't bad kids, we were just weird. So we'd flip-flop, okay, throughout like each session, like we'd whatever. And I remember, I don't recall, I could be lying about this, but thinking back, I think the time when I was like sitting out for a session, I seen this weird shadow. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to like aggravate it or like freak anyone out. But I seen a shadow behind one of my friends. She was sitting, she wasn't against the wall, but her back was to the wall. And she was probably within a foot away from the wall. And I seen this weird shadow behind her for like a split second. And I just was like trying to forget. Like, I don't know why it didn't freak me out. But I just like didn't think about it. I was like, oh, it's just whatever. But there wasn't anything like crazy that happened that night. However, we were in middle school at the time, of course, being 12, and our middle school is actually haunted. It's supposedly haunted by the old middle school teacher. And at night, janitors would say that they could hear music playing in the auditorium, and they would go past the doors to the auditorium and would hear the music play, the piano play, and they would smell like a vanilla or cherry pipe or whatever. That's what I read somewhere in some type of website. But so anyways, our middle school was haunted. Plus, on top of that, it was haunted by him. Plus, years back, more than 20 years back, a girl, she got hit by a bus and died in the bus loft area, whatever you want to call it, bus drop-off area. So anyways, so the cafeteria and auditorium on opposite sides of the building. And it's actually abandoned now. My middle school is abandoned. That's crazy to say. Like, my middle school is abandoned now. Well, it's not really abandoned, but they fixed up my high school, and now there's the 7th and 8th graders going there, and the 6th graders going in the elementary school, whatever. So, it's not really a school anymore. I don't know what they're going to do with it. But, anywho, here's where it gets a little creepy. So, it was school the next week, and there was a bathroom next to the cafeteria. Anytime one of us went into that bathroom, like any of us from the party that night went into the bathroom, the hand dryers would go on by themselves and the toilet would flush by themselves. And I'm like, okay, like I didn't think too much of it. I just thought it was a little creepy. And I thought, like, when that happened to me, I thought of the Ouija board. And then it wasn't until I don't know who I asked someone else if that happened. And it was the same person from the party. And I go, so this strange thing happened to me. Did it happen to you at all? And they're like, oh my god, yes it did. And again, we're in middle school. I don't want to, like, blame it all on the Ouija board or whatever. But it's still weird. I mean, some of us probably lied. But I asked, like, other people that weren't at that party, and they said, no, that didn't happen to us. Every single time that week, I would go in there, the hand dryer would turn on by itself, or the toilet would flush by itself, and I would get freaked out. Oh, I wouldn't get really freaked out, but I'm like, okay, this is a little strange, I'm kind of creeped out. But, it wasn't until I was at my Gram's house one time, and again, her house is haunted. There has been a couple deaths here and there in her house, and her house is super old, and it's big, and it's creepy, and it's haunted. Like, my Gram's house is dead haunted. Usually I'm not there alone. Usually in that house, I'm in there with somebody, and it's probably very unlikely because my uncle lives in that house. He's lived in that house for many years, and my grandma and papa, one of them are always usually there. But this time I think it was when they might have been on vacation then, and my uncle was, who knows where. He might have been there, but I don't think he was. He couldn't have been at work because he gets off at 5, so it would have been really dark because it was dark then. Anyways, I don't think anybody was there. My sister was with me, but she was across the street at her friend's house. And I was just watching TV, and I'll give you a little map image to kind of have an idea of what it is. So, you walk into my grandma's house, and there's this front room, and she has a big house. So, it's a front room where you take your shoes off, and there's a closet right to your right of the right side, and you can get out of that room a few ways. Actually, there's the door to the garage, which is like right on your left once you go in, and if you keep going straight ahead, there's the living room where I was. And if you are to go around, because there's a table centered in there, if you're going to go around the table, it leads up to the kitchen, and the kitchen and the closet door are right beside each other, so they're both on your right side. So in also with, and they built on, so the living room used to be like a deck or something, or a porch or whatever they had, and I was sitting on the chair, and the chairs in the living room face the front door, the front room, and the TV is back towards it. So I was watching TV, and they also have, right beside the doorway of the front room, they also had this little window thing, like this. It used to be probably a window before they built on, but it's still there, but the glass is out, it's now shelves or whatever. So say I'm sitting down and I'm watching TV, the window thing is right beside the TV, and if you look out the window and the door, because they're pretty close by, so if you look out either one, you can see the front door, and then you can see, in the window, you can see, like, the little wall from where the closet is to the steps leading up to the kitchen. But you can see the wall of where the closet is. And this was probably the weekend after the party. Out of the corner of my eye, I see this shadow figure, like, by the door, and I don't know why it caught my eye. I don't know if it made a noise, but I just remember seeing a black figure going towards the closet door. I could just feel this energy. Like, I had this psychic energy. Like, I can feel certain energies and stuff, like, really well sometimes. Sometimes I can turn it off. But at the time was, like, my prime really getting into ghosts and wanting to sense them. But so I see this shadow thing, and I was really creeped out. And I freaked out so much because it was not good. I could feel it was negative. I don't know what it was, but it was not good. And so I don't know about your beliefs. I am not religious. I of course believe in spirit stuff. I believe there is something there that can protect us, and then there's other things that can harm us and stuff. And I honestly think that black thing was bad and possibly could have harmed me. So even though I'm not a firm, I'm not gonna say there is or there isn't a God, because honestly nobody knows for sure, like, I'm a believer in spirits, but to be honest, I could just be a lunatic too, and things could just happen. Like, nobody knows, okay, that's my point. Nobody in their right mind, or in their not right mind, knows for sure if there's a God, if there's a Jesus, if there's ghosts, if there's anything. It could be something. Nobody freaking knows. And I will tell you, I freaking prayed, please God, please, I'm so sorry we did that. None of us will ever play with the Ouija board again. I'm so freaking sorry, and please just leave us all alone. We don't mean any harm. I was, like, freaking out, and I was saying this out loud to that thing, like, because it freaked me out. I think at the first, it showed itself in some way, and then I got up to kind of take a closer look, and I felt this negative energy just pouring on me, and I'm like, please just leave us alone. I swear, I promise to you, and this is where I made my promise. I'm like, I promise to you I will never play the Ouija board again, and I promise no one else will. I promise no one else will, And that was that. I never touched an Ouija board. Oh, I touched one, I guess. I touched a box of one. But I never played with one again. And after I prayed my butt off, promising it to go away and just leaving us alone and saying I'm sorry if I disturbed it or whatever, I said, promise. I said, please just leave us alone. I'm sorry, whatever. I was still shaken up about that, but I went back to sit down, still kind of scared, but I didn't see anything. I waited till my sister came in, and I'm like, okay, I'm gone. I'm out of here. Like, I'm too scared. Let's just go home. But after that, I had my Ouija board still, and I never played it. I didn't want to touch it. I don't even know what happened to it. I think my mom might have sold it in a yard sale. But yeah, like, if you have any interesting experience, good or bad, let me know in the comments. Like, that'd be so fun to read. I love me a ghost story. So, that's all I have for today. So, if you like my story, you want to hear more, make sure you like and subscribe, and you'll definitely be hearing some more ghost stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.